In a small, cheerful town, there lived a boy named Omar. He was always curious about everything. He loved to ask questions, and one day, he noticed something interesting. Every time his mother started cooking, she whispered something. Every time his father opened the Quran, he said something first. Even his teacher at school would say something before writing on the board. Omar listened carefully and realized it was always the same words. Bismillahir-Rahman-ir-Rahim. "Mom, what does Bismillah mean?" Omar asked one evening. His mother smiled. "It means in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. We say it before we start anything because we ask Allah to bless our actions." Omar was fascinated. "So if I say Bismillah, Allah will help me?" "Exactly," his mother said. "Whenever we say Bismillah, we invite Allah's blessings into what we do." Omar decided to test it out. The next day, Omar was excited to try saying Bismillah in his daily life. He got ready for school, and just as he picked up his lunchbox, he whispered, "Bismillah." But in his rush, he forgot his lunchbox on the kitchen counter. At lunchtime, he realized he had no food. His stomach rumbled, and he felt disappointed. "I said Bismillah. Why didn't it work?" he thought. Just then, his best friend Yusuf came. "For Omar, my mom packed extra food today. Want to share?" Omar smiled and nodded. As they ate together, he realized something. Even though he forgot his lunch, Allah still took care of him. That evening, Omar had another idea. He had been trying to learn to ride his bike without training wheels, but he always fell. "Maybe, if I say Bismillah, I won't fall," he thought. He got on his bike, took a deep breath, and whispered, "Bismillah." He started pedaling, and then, thump, he fell. Omar was confused. Why didn't Bismillah stop me from falling? His father, who had been watching, walked over and helped him up. "Omar, saying Bismillah doesn't mean we won't face challenges. It means Allah is with us through them." Omar thought for a moment. He got back on his bike, said Bismillah again, and kept trying. This time he didn't give up. After a few tries, he did it. He rode his bike all the way across the yard. His father clapped. "See, Bismillah gave you strength, and with patience you succeeded." The power of Bismillah. That night, Omar realized how powerful these words were. Saying Bismillah reminded him that Allah is always with him. 2. Even if things don't go as planned, Allah helps in other ways. Last but not the least, Bismillah gives us strength to keep trying. From that day on, Omar said Bismillah before everything, before eating, before playing, before opening his books, and before sleeping. It became a part of his life. So friends, always remember that the words Bismillahir-Rahman-ir-Rahim hold great blessings. Saying Bismillah helps us start everything with Allah's name, brings barakah, that is blessings, into our actions, and teaches us that even when things go wrong, Allah is still guiding us. Imagine if we all started our days, our meals, our studies, and even our challenges with Bismillah, how much blessing and strength we would receive. What if today you start your own Bismillah challenge? Say Bismillah before everything and see how it changes your day. May Allah bless us with success, patience, and faith in His plan. Ameen. Like and share this story to spread the beauty of Ramadan. There was once a man named Ayan, a successful businessman in his late 30s. On the surface, he had it all: a good job, a comfortable home, and a circle of friends. But beneath all of that, he carried a heavy burden, one that had followed him quietly like a shadow for 5 long years. It all began on an ordinary afternoon. Ayan had an argument with his childhood friend, Bilal. Not just any argument, it was sharp, loud, and filled with harsh words that neither of them truly meant. It started over something trivial, a misunderstanding in their work partnership, but it escalated quickly. In the heat of anger, Ayan accused Bilal of betrayal, and Bilal, hurt and shocked, walked away without a word. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months, and then into years. Pride is a silent wall. Ayan thought about apologizing so many times. So many nights as he lay awake, He remembered Bilal's hurt eyes and wished he could turn back time. But every time he thought of picking up the phone, a voice in his head would whisper, "It's been too long. What will he say? He probably hates you now." So Ayaan buried the guilt under piles of work, achievements, and distractions. But guilt has a way of finding you at Tati, weddings, at gatherings, or when he passed by their old favorite tea shop. Memories would flood back. Laughter shared over steaming cups of chai. The support they gave each other during hard times. And then, the argument. One day, 5 years later, Ayaan attended a community event. As fate would have it, Bilal was there too, across the hall, speaking to someone else. Ayaan's heart pounded in his chest. His palms felt sweaty. He had two choices: pretend he didn't see him, or take the step he should have taken 5 years ago. Something inside him stirred, a quiet courage. He took a deep breath and walked towards Bilal. As he stood before his old friend, Ayaan's voice trembled, but he spoke from the depths of his heart. "Bilal, I know it's been years, but not a day has passed that I haven't regretted that fight. I was wrong, my words were wrong. My pride kept me silent for too long. I'm sorry, my brother." There was a moment of silence that felt like forever. Then, Bilal's eyes softened. He let out a deep sigh and said, "Ayaan, I've been waiting 5 years to hear that. I forgave you a long time ago, but hearing you say it now, it means the world." They embraced, not just as old friends, but as brothers healing old wounds. That moment lifted a weight off Ayaan's heart that he didn't even realize had grown so heavy. They sat together, shared tea once again, and it was as if the years of distance melted away. So friends, always remember that it's never too late to say sorry. Time does not heal everything. Courage and humility do. Don't let pride steal your chance at making things right. Sometimes all it takes is one brave step to rebuild bridges you thought were lost forever. If this story touched your heart, remember to like this video to spread the message. Share it. You never know who needs to hear this today. Let's make the world a better place, one apology at a time. Ava had always admired great speakers, their confidence, their passion, the way they could command a room. She dreamed of doing the same, but every time she thought about stepping on stage, a familiar voice echoed in her mind. What if you forget your words? What if they laugh at you? What if you fail? The voice of fear wasn't just loud, it was paralyzing. She remembered a time in school when she had to present in front of the class. Her heart pounded, her hands shook, and she completely blanked out. The laughter, the embarrassment, it all came rushing back every time she tried to speak in public, so she avoided it. Every opportunity to speak, she found an excuse. Every time someone asked her to share her thoughts, she stayed quiet, and the worst part, the more she let fear win, the stronger it became. One evening, Ava attended a seminar. The speaker on stage wasn't perfect. He stumbled, laughed at himself, even lost his train of thought, but no one laughed at him. No one mocked him. Instead, the audience clapped, encouraged him, and listened intently. That's when something clicked. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about showing up, speaking up, and owning your voice. That night, Ava had a realization. Fear was just one voice in her head, but it wasn't the only voice. What about the voice of passion, the one that made her dream of speaking in the first place? What about the voice of courage, the one that whispered, "Just try"? What about the voice of her future self, waiting for her to take action? Why was she only listening to fear? Ava made a decision. Fear would no longer be the loudest voice. She started small. Every morning she stood in front of her mirror and spoke, even if her voice shook. She recorded herself, watched it back, and improved. She signed up for a local public speaking workshop. The first day, she sat in the back, terrified. But when it was her turn, she forced herself to walk to the front. Her hands trembled. Her voice wavered, but she spoke. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't smooth. But she did it, and that alone was a victory. 05:30:07 now. Growth and confidence. Speech after speech she grew. The second time she spoke louder. The third time she made eye contact. By the 10th speech, something incredible happened. She was no longer just speaking. She was inspiring. She still felt fear, but now it was just background noise. She learned that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's taking action despite it. So friends, remember that fear will always be there. It will whisper. It will try to hold you back, but you get to choose which voice you listen to. Don't let the whispers of doubt silence the roar of your potential. If Ava could do it, so can you. Step forward. Speak up. Own your moment. Like and share if you believe in silencing fear and embracing courage. The stars twinkled in the night sky as Amina sat by the window, holding a small lantern in her hands. It was the night before Ramadan, and her grandmother had just given her the lantern, saying, "This is a special lantern, my dear. It will guide you toward kindness and generosity." Amina tilted her head. "A special lantern, but how, Grandma?" Her grandmother only smiled. "You will see, my child. But remember, Ramadan is not just about fasting. It is about giving, sharing, and bringing light to others." Amina nodded, but she wasn't sure what her grandmother meant. As she placed the lantern beside her bed, she whispered, "I wish I knew how to be kinder and more giving." The next morning, Amina woke up for suhoor and noticed something strange. The lantern was glowing softly. She rubbed her eyes in surprise. Did Grandma light it? She wondered. But when she looked closely, there was no candle or bulb inside. That day, Amina went to the kitchen, feeling hungry as she watched her mother prepare food. Just then, she saw a little boy outside their house, looking longingly at the food. Amina hesitated for a moment and then decided to give him some dates and a small bowl of food. The boy's face lit up with happiness as he thanked her. That night, when she returned to her room, the lantern's glow had grown brighter. Amina gasped. Could it be the lantern is glowing because of my kindness? Over the next few days, Amina decided to test her theory. She helped her little brother with his schoolwork, and the lantern glowed a little more. She shared her favorite toys with her cousin, and the glow became even stronger. She gave some of her Eid money to a needy family, and the lantern shone, brighter than ever before. One evening, Amina asked her grandmother, "Grandma, is this lantern magical?" "It glows every time I do something kind." Her grandmother smiled knowingly. "The magic, my dear, is not in the lantern. It is in you. The more kindness you show, the brighter your heart shines. The lantern is just a reminder of the light you bring into the world." Amina's heart swelled with warmth. She realized that true magic was in generosity, love, and sharing with others. As Ramadan came to an end, Amina had learned a powerful lesson. She no longer needed the lantern to remind her to be kind. It had become a part of her heart. On the night of Eid, she placed the lantern on her windowsill, where it glowed softly, as if smiling at her. With a heart full of gratitude, she whispered, "Thank you, Allah, for teaching me that kindness is the real light of Ramadan. Just like Amina, we all have a lantern of kindness inside us. The more we give, the brighter our world becomes. This Ramadan, let's spread generosity, love, and light to everyone around us. Ramadan Mubarak." If this story inspired you, like and share to spread the message of kindness. It was the night before Ramadan, and Sami could barely contain his excitement. He loved the month of fasting, the delicious iftar meals, and staying up late for Taraweeh prayers. But this year, something extra special had appeared in his room. A beautifully decorated Ramadan calendar, shimmering with golden patterns. "Mama, did you get me this?" Sami asked, running his fingers over the tiny numbered doors, one for each day of Ramadan. Mama shook her head. "No, dear, that wasn't from me. Maybe it's a special gift for you to discover." Curious, Sami carefully opened the first door, revealing a tiny scroll of paper. It read, "Day 1. Help someone today without them knowing." Sami's mind raced. with ideas. The next morning, while Mama was busy preparing iftar, he quietly set the table before she could ask. When she turned around and saw everything ready, she smiled. "Oh, who did this?" Sammy just grinned and said nothing. At that moment, something magical happened. The calendar glowed softly and a golden star appeared next to the first door. "Did you see that?" Sammy gasped. The next day, he eagerly opened door number 2. Day 2. Control your anger today. Sammy thought it would be easy, but by midday, hunger made him cranky. When his little sister, Lena, accidentally knocked over his coloring set, he almost shouted. But then he remembered the challenge. Taking a deep breath, he said, "It's okay, Lena. Let's clean it up together." As soon as he forgave her, the calendar shimmered again, and another golden star appeared. Each day brought a new challenge: sharing food, reading Quran, helping neighbors, making dua for someone, forgiving a friend. And each time Sammy completed a task, the calendar would glow, rewarding him with a tiny golden star. As the days passed, Sammy realized something. At first, he was just excited to see the calendar light up, but soon he started looking forward to the challenges because they made him feel happy inside. He wasn't just counting down to Eid. He was learning to be kinder, more patient, and more thankful. On the last night of Ramadan, Sammy carefully opened the final door. Day 30. Reflect on what you've learned and make a special dua. Sammy sat by the window looking up at the moon. He whispered, "Ya Allah, thank you for this Ramadan. Please help me keep doing good deeds even after Eid. Ameen." At that moment, the calendar shined brighter than ever, and a golden light filled the room. When it faded, the calendar had vanished, leaving only a small, glowing star in Sammy's hand. He smiled, realizing the true magic of Ramadan wasn't in the calendar. It was in the goodness it brought out in him. Friends, Ramadan isn't just about counting days. It's about making every day count. Small acts of kindness, patience, and faith can transform our hearts and bring us closer to Allah. This Ramadan, let's challenge ourselves to do more good, not just for the rewards, but because kindness and faith make the world brighter. May be. We carry these lessons with us all year long. Like and share so others can be inspired to make their Ramadan truly magical. Everyone carries something, but not everything they carry can be seen. This is the story of Ayan and the invisible backpack, a story that shows us how a little kindness can carry someone a long way. It's a school playground. Kids are playing happily, swinging, skipping, chasing balls. At Hillside Elementary, Ayan was known for his big smile and curious mind. He loved solving riddles, collecting shiny stones, and helping his teacher carry books. But one day, something changed. Ayan wasn't smiling. He wasn't running to class. He looked tired, like he was carrying something heavy but no one could see anything. In the classroom, teacher is cheerful. Kids settle in. Ayan slouches in his chair. "Ayan, are you okay?" asked Miss Sophia. Ayan nodded quietly, but didn't say a word. Another student whispers to a friend, "Why is Ayan acting weird?" Nobody knew that Ayan had been up all night. His baby sister had a fever, and his parents were rushing her to the hospital. He had to stay up, help with chores, and even feed himself breakfast. As Ayan walks through the school hallway, an invisible backpack slowly fades into view on his back. It's full of glowing stones labeled worry, tired, fear, confusion. Ayan was carrying something, an invisible backpack filled with heavy feelings no one could see. Another student, Mina, noticing Ayan struggling to tie his shoelaces. "Hey, Ayan, want help?" Ayan nods. Mina kneels and ties his laces. That small act made one of the heavy stones disappear. His backpack got just a little bit lighter. Later, a friend offers to share lunch. Another lets Ayan cut in line. The teacher gives him a sticker and says, I'm proud of you for coming to school today. Every kind word, every little gesture took away a stone from Ayan's invisible backpack. Backpack starts glowing brighter and lighter until it gently vanishes. But later that day, someone else was carrying an invisible backpack too. Now Mina is walking, with her invisible backpack full of stones, lonely, left out, sad. And guess who noticed? Ayan comes by and shares his extra snack. He says, "Want to play tomorrow?" Because once you understand how it feels, you never want someone else to carry that weight alone. So friends, we all carry invisible backpacks, some heavier than others. So be the reason someone's burden gets a little lighter, because kindness is magic, and it doesn't need a reason. Did this story make your backpack feel a little lighter? Then, like this video if you believe kindness matters. Share it with a friend. You never know whose day you might brighten. And don't forget to subscribe for more heart-touching stories every week. Let's make the world a kinder place, one story at a time. He had only one shoe, and people laughed at him. But when he gave it away, something incredible happened. Ibrahim was a poor village boy. Every day he walked 3 miles to school, not because he loved studying, but because school was the only place he felt seen. His foot hurts on gravel. Kids whisper and laugh. He only had one shoe, not one pair, just one shoe. His mother had found it in a garbage pile, cleaned it, and said, "It's not perfect, but it'll get you there." A teacher looks with pity but says nothing. "Ibrahim, why don't you wear the other shoe?" He stayed silent. He had learned long ago that explaining poverty doesn't make it disappear. But deep down, he believed Allah was watching. He believed that maybe, just maybe, this missing shoe was part of a bigger journey. On his way back, he saw another boy, younger, shivering, barefoot. Ibrahim looked at his only shoe, and without a word, he took it off. Ibrahim walks away, completely barefoot now, smiling softly, despite the pain. His foot bled, his steps were slow, but his heart was light. The next day, Ibrahim comes to school with bandaged feet. Everyone stares. The principal called him in. "Ibrahim," he said, "why are you barefoot today?" He quietly answered, "I gave my shoe to someone who needed it more." The principal smiles. A teacher enters holding a new box. "Someone saw what you did," he said. "Not just someone, a visitor from the city who runs a school for gifted children. He saw your kindness and your grades. He wants to give you a full scholarship." The boy who once walked with one shoe now had a path paved with opportunity. Ibrahim, years later, grown up, speaking at a school. Kids listen wide-eyed. "I used to think Allah had forgotten me," he says, "but I didn't know. Sometimes, blessings come through broken things. Even a broken shoe, one act of kindness, one broken moment, can open the doors to blessings beyond what you prayed for." So friends, never underestimate a small good deed. Allah sees what others ignore. If this story touched your heart, hit the like button. Share it with someone who needs hope today. And remember, sometimes losing something is how Allah gives us everything. Subscribe for more stories that shine. Have you ever made a mistake and ended up creating something amazing? Well, meet Rami, a young boy with a big heart, a messy kitchen, and a spoonful of imagination. This is the story of Rami's rainbow recipe. Rami loved baking with his grandma every Saturday, muffins, cookies, and the fluffiest cakes. But this Saturday, Grandma had a cold and said, "Why don't you try baking alone today?" Rami's eyes lit up. "Me? Alone?" "Yes, sweetheart. I believe in you." He rolled up his sleeves, tied his apron, and got started on Grandma's famous vanilla cupcakes. Rami tried to remember the recipe by heart. Flour, eggs, sugar. Was it 1 teaspoon of salt or 1 tablespoon? He mumbled, "Uh-oh." He spilled flour, cracked eggshells into the bowl, and accidentally added blue food coloring instead of vanilla. And just when he thought he had it under control, he sneezed. Achoo! A whole rainbow of food coloring bottles tipped over into the batter. Rami gasped, The bowl looked like a swirl of paint. He stared at the mess. Oh no, I ruined everything. He looked at the oven, then at the messy bowl. But what if I don't throw it away? What if I just try? So he poured the strange rainbow batter into cupcake trays, set the timer, and waited. Ding! The oven chimed. Rami opened the door slowly, and there they were. Rainbow cupcakes. Fluffy, vibrant, and glowing with every color. He took a bite. Wow, these are actually delicious. Rami took the cupcakes to his grandma. She took one bite, smiled wide, and said, Rami, these are better than my recipe. He beamed. I messed up everything, but it turned into something new. By the next week, kids from school, neighbors, and even the local bakery wanted to try Rami's rainbow recipe. So friends, sometimes the greatest recipes, the most magical ideas, and the best memories come from our biggest mistakes. Rami learned that day. Mistakes aren't the end. They're just the beginning of creativity. Have you ever created something amazing by accident? Tell us in the comments. If this story made you smile, don't forget to like, share, subscribe for more magical stories that spark young hearts and imaginations. In a lively little town, in a cheerful school painted with bright blue walls, sat a classroom full of giggles, pencils scratching, and chattering voices. Among the chatter sat Amira, a quiet, thoughtful girl with big, curious eyes. She never shouted the loudest, never raised her hand first, and never interrupted anyone. Most people thought she was just shy. But Amira had a secret. She believed that words were like seeds. If you plant good ones, they grow into something beautiful. One day during recess, Amira noticed a boy sitting alone by the swings. His name was Rafi, a new student. His clothes were a little dusty, his backpack a bit torn, and his eyes a little sad. Other kids whispered about him. Why doesn't he talk much? His clothes are old. He's weird. But Amira didn't join the whispers. Instead, she walked up to him and said softly, Amira. Hi, I'm Amira. I like your drawings. Want to play after lunch? Rafi looked up in surprise. No one had really spoken to him, only about him. At lunch, Amira invited Rafi to sit at her table. She introduced him to her friends and even shared her favorite cookies. Soon, Rafi began to smile more. He laughed at jokes. He started drawing pictures again, only this time they were full of color and hope. The teacher announced a class project. Each of you will say something kind about the person next to you. Some groaned, some giggled. When it was Rafi's turn, he stood up, held his sketchbook, and turned to Amira. Rafi. A week ago, I thought nobody saw me, but then someone whispered kindness into my life. That whisper, it was the loudest sound I've ever heard. The classroom fell silent. A whisper had changed everything. The class later painted a mural on the school wall. In the middle of it was a giant tree. Underneath it were words in big, bold letters. Kindness doesn't need to shout to be heard. Amira smiled. She hadn't spoken the most words, but she had spoken the right ones. Sometimes the softest words carry the strongest messages. A kind word, a gentle smile, a small act of care. These things echo louder than anger or noise. So, be like Amira. Whisper kindness, and you'll speak louder than the world ever could. Like if you believe in the power of kindness. Share too. Spread good words and warm hearts. Subscribe for more stories that speak to the soul. In a small, lively town where the streets buzzed with energy and dreams floated in the air like balloons at a festival, there lived a young boy named Ayan. Ayan wasn't just any ordinary teenager. He had a secret passion. No, it wasn't football. No, it wasn't video games. Ayan loved to dance, but here's the twist. He had never danced in front of anyone, not even his closest friends. Every night behind the closed door of his room, Ayan would practice smooth moves he watched online, flowing like water, spinning like the wind. His dream? To one day perform on a big stage, under bright lights, and hear the crowd cheer for him. But there was one thing holding him back. Fear. What if they laugh at me? What if I make a mistake? What if my dreams are too bold for someone like me? These questions echoed in his mind every single day. One morning, as Ayan walked into school, he noticed a big poster. Annual talent show, follow your dreams. His heart skipped a beat. His mind raced between excitement and hesitation. Could this be his chance? Should he take the leap? He thought of his dream, of all the nights he had danced alone. And in that moment, he whispered to himself, "Smooth moves bold dreams." And with that, Ayan signed up for the talent show. In the weeks leading up to the show, Ayan practiced relentlessly. Morning stretches, afternoon routines, late-night polishing of every step. He even recorded himself, spotting mistakes, improving moves, and perfecting his timing. But there were still moments of doubt. He would sometimes freeze, thinking about the audience. That's when his mother noticed and gently said, "Ayan, smooth. Moves come from practice, but bold dreams, they come from the heart. Don't dance for them, dance for yourself." Those words lit a spark inside him. He smiled, took a deep breath, and kept going. The auditorium was packed, lights beaming, cameras flashing. Ayan's heart pounded like a drum in his chest. As he stepped onto the stage, the crowd went silent. For a split second, fear tried to grab him again. But then, he remembered. Smooth moves, bold dreams. The music started, and Ayan began to dance, not for perfection, not for applause, but for the love of it. Every move was smooth, every step bold. He let his passion guide him, and the crowd felt it. By the time the music stopped, the auditorium erupted in cheers. People stood, clapped, and whistled. His friends were amazed, teachers proud, and even strangers were smiling wide. Backstage, a young girl approached Ayan with sparkling eyes and said, "You're so brave. I want to follow my dream too, to sing on this stage next year." Ayan smiled and replied, "Remember, smooth moves, bold dreams. Practice hard and believe even harder." So friends, Ayan's story teaches us that no dream is too bold if you have the courage to take the first step. It's not about never feeling fear. It's about dancing with it, turning hesitation into motivation. Whether it's dancing, singing, starting a business, or chasing any dream you hold close to your heart, remember, practice your smooth moves, dream your bold dreams, and most importantly, never stop believing in yourself. If you felt inspired by Ayan's story, don't forget to give this video a big like, share it with your friends and family who need a little push to follow their dreams, and of course, subscribe for more motivational stories that light up your heart and move your soul. Remember, smooth moves, bold dreams. See you in the next story.